Everybody, in this video I am going to teach you how to find your true life purpose, your soul mission in this life. Okay, so hi, my name's Jody Deane and I help entrepreneurs, empaths, I help light workers and love leaders find their true purpose in life and navigate the spiritual awakening process, which is now accelerating in this world. And the last few weeks of life have certainly shown us that, and it's only going to get more intense as the energy amps up. So, this is also a reason why you're probably wondering how to really activate and access your soul purpose more than ever before, because somehow it's getting more critical, perhaps in your awareness, that the old you, the old life, the old habits, the old belief systems are no longer serving, and you're really looking for that true deep fulfillment that you spot, you feel, you sense in certain individuals who you find them online or maybe in person, that you know who are living their purpose and have that joy, that calm about them, that fulfillment that you so long for. So how do I go about this, Jody? Like, what is my plan, Jody? What should I do? Okay, well, I want to just, and I'm really, I want to say that I'm just right now, I am very much using my intuitive faculties to tune in to everyone who comes to this video, to their higher self, to really help them understand. So from a higher self perspective, how best to connect with your higher purpose, your true self and your true soul mission in this world, because it's never one size fits all, and there's a 1,000 different topics we could talk about here, or 1,000 different ways that we could explore this wonderful, great, essential theme with. So first of all, I'm going to say something, maybe a little bit out of the box for some of you, but for others it might be very normal, and that is to look at astrology. Now, astrology works by your date of birth and your time of birth and your place of birth, so you need to know those things. And if you don't have that, like the time of birth, which some people don't, I would say 1 in 10 don't know for sure, then you can ask your parent if they're still alive. And if that doesn't work, then I have a way for you to find it if you really want to find it. Okay, so just comment birth time and I'll share it with you. All right. So astrology has been one of the most powerful tools I have had the pleasure of encountering in my life, and it came to me when I was young, very young. I was 9, 10, 11, and I started to hear about astrology through a couple of friends of my mother who were coming to our house, or we going to them, and there would be this chat because they were very much into astrology and they were practicing astrology. And so I started to hear about astrology and think, there's something to this. And the more I looked over the years, the more I found. And so the birth chart, your natal chart, where the stars and the constellations and the planets were in the sky when you were born, has a massive bearing on your life. It is a map, really, for your qualities, your characteristics, your traits, weaknesses, strengths, shadow side, and the inner work that needs to happen in your life if you want to be fulfilled. And it also gives some very important clues to your life purpose and your soul mission. And one of them is where the North Node is in your chart. And if you can have a look where your North Node is, then we can start to get a bit more specific about your life purpose and your mission in life, what will be most fulfilling to you. Okay, so where that North Node is and what sign it's in, what astrological sign it's in, as well as what house it's in and what it's close to, what other planets it's close to or far away from, gives a really powerful indication of your life direction, your soul path, and your purpose that may not be obvious to you because maybe you're stuck in the matrix. Maybe you have been programmed very heavily by your parents, by society, like I was, right? Maybe it's schooling that got you, or the media that got you and programmed you to make you believe that you're so much less than who you really are. Or maybe it was deep trauma that got you, and something that has then created very limiting beliefs and dysregulation in your nervous system, which has taken you away from what is naturally your truth and your path and what maybe as a child you dreamed about being or doing. So that's one indication, is the North Node. And I'll leave it there with astrology, but you can always comment where your North Node is, and I'll comment back to you, okay, this could indicate this about your destiny, your soul path, your purpose. Another wonderful, potent map is your human design. And again, that needs your place of birth, your date of birth, and your time of birth. I'm not so sure that the place of birth has importance, but the time of birth does. So have a look on human design. You can pull up a chart for free on the internet and have a look. Yeah, start exploring. These divination systems are incredibly powerful. They tend to be very accurate, especially when you know how to interpret them, or you're consulting with someone who's an expert who knows how to interpret them, because you just look for the typical basic general advice that's out there on the interwebs. Well, there is a level where it can be true, but because you are a multidimensional being, you are multi-leveled, multi-layered, and life is so nuanced, and there are so many factors within these systems which can shift and change the interpretation. It's much better to actually get some specific readings and specific advice, interpretation. And even that, if that means, for example, deciding, right, well, I'm going to become an expert on this, and I'm going to use my own self, my own chart as the way in, which I did many years ago, then go for it. Otherwise, use an expert, use someone who's, we don't go, okay, let's, we want to build this massive public building and we need an architect for it. So let's go to the architecture school and take an undergraduate, a first year undergraduate, and they'll be cheap, right? And let's use them, right? No, we don't. You go to who is an established professional, well experienced architect who has done previous projects of similar stature, and you go to them and go, hey, we want to build this wonderful big public building. And there's a reason for that, because a beginner is a beginner, and mistakes are made, many, and you're going off on a tangent right from the beginning. So there are a couple of very important guides that can be helpful for anyone out there, you, who is looking for more clarity around your soul purpose. And then I'll say the third thing, which is really looking at what you wanted to be when you were a child and what you were excited about. It may not have been so clear. It's like, I want to be a postman, or I want to be a doctor, or I want to be with animals and work with animals. What it may be is an inkling, like a feeling, like you loved drawing or you loved singing as a child. And so you may have not had that kind of reflection from others or to yourself that, hey, you could be a singer, right? Or you could teach singing or work with the voice in some way as a vocalist or as a voice therapist, for example, or doing toning or sound healing or something like that. The key is the knowing and the feeling inside that you had as a child that lit you up. For me, the esoteric was the most exciting thing. Rebellion was big for me when I was about 12. But before even rebellion happened and being a rebel, I had this curiosity about the unexplained. I read every book I could find on the unexplained. And then on each of the themes in the unexplained books, I then went and got books about them, like extraterrestrials, like the pyramids of Egypt, ancient civilizations, astrology, magic, supernatural powers like being psychic, being telepathic, healing. What else? Meditation, of course, was a big one for me. The power of plants for the use in healing and health, for their effect on our mood, frequencies and vibrations. And this is where I started to explore. No, I didn't know at that time, I want to be a practitioner in herbalism, for example. Or it wasn't like, now, mummy, I want to be a meditation teacher. No, it was just I was excited and curious and following my flow and in my bliss around these topics. And that has continued. And then at some point there was a step towards that. And I was like, I can actually need to heal myself first. But as part of that process, I began to, look for a healing modality I could work with. And that firstly was kind of breathwork and yoga. And that was through a friend who was a teacher in that, and I experienced his workshops and was, had profound effect on me. And then yoga, and then I got interested in creative arts psychotherapy, and I did a training around that. When I was in London, I lived in London, and I didn't become a creative arts psychotherapist per se. I didn't get the qualification. It was a long process, and I was basically too young. I was in my kind of up to my neck, or really actually almost just swimming to a point where I was drowning in it, because the emotions were so intense. And I with becoming a psychotherapist, you really have to focus on yourself and go through your own process and your own journey, and that's what you're encouraged to. if it's any psychotherapy training worth its salt, is going to really get you to look at yourself and your own issues and get you to work on your own stuff and see that, and then from that awareness, that self-awareness that you've cultivated, then you can start to hold space for others in their story, in their sensitivity, in their mess, in their needy place, in their process, in their need for safety, in their need for clarity and balance and well-being. So you're coming from a place where you found within you. So long story short, I also did a training in shiatsu. I never became a professional shiatsu practitioner, but I was very curious to work with traditional Chinese medicine, the body and energetics, and they were all involved in the shiatsu training. And so I did that, and then that led me on to something else, which was Seiki Soho, which was a more of an off-the-body energy healing technique or modality, which was very Zen. And I did then practice that somewhat. It became part of my tools, and then that then led to an initiation I had, or rather, life led me to the initiation, but that my experience with energy healing was transformed through that initiation I had, a very specific time when I was doing breath work, which I've made other videos about, or a couple of other videos about, where I was doing breath work underwater through a snorkel tube, and I went out of the body, and I had an experience that completely changed my reality, and a whole new level of healing ability manifested in my reality. And this was my first real, what you would call, contact with extraterrestrial life. But it's not what it seems, because that contact was, let's say, beyond space and time. So it's a tricky one to get our heads around. And let me know if you'd like more about that. I'd like to hear more about that. Time is a perceptual construct, and it is an appearance that we have in this three-dimensional physical material realm, and yet it inherently doesn't exist. And that's, I know it's a paradox, it's so hard to get our heads around. Even my mind is just endlessly kind of bending around this concept all the time, and realizing, okay, it is just a concept, and everything that always has been, is, and always will be, is all here right now. So to round this off, I know it's been a bit of a long one, to say that you, on some level, knew in your childhood what lit you up. Whether that was something that then got more clear in you as you grew up, or was reflected back to you as an adult, or by an adult, it will depend. Or whether it was never reflected back to you as an adult. But the invitation is to check in with that now and really see what lit you up. Human design, phenomenal, yet potentially imperfect system, but all systems have their flaws. Human design has been, for me, a wonderful system to help me understand and navigate my purpose. And then astrology, your natal birth chart, fantastic amount of information there available to you should you wish to explore it and get deeper. Now, I do offer some sessions with my clients which are like a blueprint session, like your life blueprint, and we look at your astrology, your human design, and also intuitive information that comes to me because as I've developed my own gifts and I've got much more clearer about my own purpose, I have opened up, let's say, ability, guidance to really help others with divining, and understanding their soul purpose and life mission. And so I combine that in my readings, in this blueprint session, right? It's called the soul purpose blueprint session, and it's very powerful. So I do offer that. So if you're interested in that, you can message me directly or send me an email, and we can chat about that. But it's normally something that I do with my existing coaching clients. So it's not for sale anywhere, on the internet or anything. You won't find it for sale. It's just something I offer privately. But why not? Since I'm doing this video, I didn't think about this when I started the video, but since I'm doing this video, why not? If you've been brought here, if you've followed the whispers to come here and watch this video, perhaps this is something that might be able to help you, and I'd be willing to talk about it, to chat with you about it, about that particular offering. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this video. Hope it's been helpful for you. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and anything that has resonated with you. And if you've enjoyed this, please give it a like. And if you're not already subscribed, please do subscribe to the channel if you would like to get more videos like this around spiritual awakening, soul purpose, healing, personal growth, and new paradigm leadership. So this is a time now when, with this new era happening, landing, birthing, there is a whole new understanding about what leadership is. And what we're talking here is authority, sovereignty, having influence and impact that comes from the heart, that is rooted in deep authenticity, and that is truly courageous. And I do chat about this as well, and I do help others with this as well, with navigating that and dialing it in more. So anyway, hope you've had a wonderful video, and see you in the next one. Bye for now.